Talk about them big boys up front. Probably one of the most important positions we have going into training camp. And obviously, you can tell by the title, it's offensive line. What is up, Finn fans? We are into another training camp position battle video, and we are talking offensive line. Now, there's a lot to talk about the offensive line because they're rocking 19 players going into training camp. 19 of them. And they'll probably keep on the active roster, I will say maybe eight or nine. Nine being the max. But again, I haven't done my 53-man roster yet. That'll come before the cuts start happening, because again, they have to go from 90 to 53. It's not like the way it used to be, which was 90 to 80, 80 to 70, then 70 to 53. There was like cut periods. Now it's just 90, 53. Wow, you got to get rid of all of them. So it's going to be crazy. But we're going to talk about the offensive line. We're going to talk about who is fighting to make the team. And I got one of you guys' comments of the day. But real quick, before we jump into all that good stuff, I have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is Clean the World. My man, Sean Seipler, doing some fantastic things for people in need, whether it's third world country, people who are dealing with a natural disaster, whether it's the homeless, all of these great things. He puts these kits together that is able to be given to people that have things of essential like shampoo, toothbrush, soap, socks, toothpaste, all that good stuff. And he gets into people of need, shower stations, all that stuff. Go check him out, cleantheworld.org. It's linked in the description. He does some really fantastic things, and he's an awesome human being. So go check it out. So we're going to look at the offensive line. Now I'm going to start with tackles, and then off. I wrote down the tackles, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I was going to write down the rest of the positions, but it's 12. So I have it up in front of me. I'm not going to pop it up over here because it's 19 offensive linemen. I'm just going to talk about them, and we're going to jump into this. So you got your tackles. You got Teron Armstead, Austin Jackson, Kendall Lamb, Patrick Paul, Keon Smith, and Ryan Hayes, and then you have your undrafted free agent and Baron Matos. Teron Armstead, when the man's healthy, when the man's on the field, elite, one of the best tackles in football, but there's that ifs, ands, or buts. I'm hoping that he, gives us 14 games this year. Give me 14 games. You're playing. I understand that they're playing a tough position, especially at tackle, where if a guard blocks somebody the wrong way, or if the center blocks somebody the wrong way, they can roll up on their legs, which is something that happened to Teron last season and can really derail their season. But if he can give me 14 games and then obviously playoff games, I think we'll be good, because again, when he's on the field and he's healthy, the man is elite. We saw it at the beginning of the year. We saw him moving people, especially in the run game when he gets out in front. So again, Teron Armstead, to me, a lock at left tackle. It's a very obvious one. Then you have Austin Jackson, a guy who had a resurgence last year under Butch Berry, a guy who came in, took it seriously, got himself into peak physical shape, is still doing that, staying late, working with specialists on doing moves with the weights and all that, like craziness. Lock in at right tackle. We have our tackles in at Teron Armstead and Austin Jackson. Then you have Kendall Lamb, a guy who, when Teron Armstead did get banged up, came in and was actually very good, very serviceable left tackle. And then we have a guy in Patrick Paul as well. He's going to be learning from, again, one of the best in the league. And he's actually, doing his due diligence, going to the offensive line camp that is run with Teron Armstead and learning more. Then you have Keon Smith, who wasn't bad when he got his chance. And then you got our 7th round pick 2 years ago, and Ryan Hayes. And then you have the undrafted free agent. So again, out of the tackles, I'm thinking they're going to keep 4 tackles. Those 4 tackles are going to be Teron Armstead, Austin Jackson, Kendall Lamb, and Patrick Paul. There's your 4 tackles they're keeping, your rotational guys. Keon Smith might make it to the practice squad, and then Ryan Hayes and Matos, they have an uphill battle. So when it comes to camp position battles, that's kind of you're kind of, when it comes to the tackle position, you can't position battling to make the practice squad, because I think you got your four already locked in at tackles. And I think I'm actually very happy with what we have at tackle, because again, Kendall Lamb came in, he did really well. And then we have Patrick Paul, a kid who's going to be learning. It's funny, I'm saying kid, you know, turning 37 this year. He's 21 and I've got 16 years on him. Craziness to me. Um, he's learning. Big guy, just got to, get the hands right and it'll be really good. So those are your tackles. Then you have your interior offensive linemen. And on the Miami Dolphins site, they're just listed as OLs, offensive linemen. And I'm just going to raffle them off in the order they are, which is in alphabetical order. You have Aaron Brewer, you have Ireland Brown, who is an undrafted free agent. You have Lester Cotton, Jack Driscoll, Liam Eichenberg, Chasen Hines, Austin Jackson. I don't know why he's listed there, but ignore that I said that. Matthew Jones, Robert Jones, Andrew Meyer, Isaiah Wynn, and that's it. I almost said another duplicate name, because right under the OLs is the OT, and that is Matos, who is an undrafted free agent at tackle. So looking at these offensive linemen, if I had to tell you right now, gun to head, who is going to be, the interior starters, it's Aaron Brewer at center. Then I'm saying left guard is Isaiah Wynn, and I'm saying right guard is Liam Eichenberg. If, again, gun to head, hey, you need to make a decision. But this is where the camp battle gets interesting. Now, Aaron Brewer is going to be our center, right? They paid him. People think they paid him a lot. I didn't pay him a lot. Go look at his contract. He's making like $2 million this year, and he's making like $8 million next year. But he's going to be our center, and I'm interested to see how he's going to do at center. If you watched Finside the NFL, not yesterday, the day before, when I was on the panel, that was one of the guys that I'm going to be really interested in looking at in training camp to see how he does, because of the fact that he did struggle in pass protection when he was with the Titans, but also you have to take into consideration he was blocking for Ryan Tannehill, and we all know how his pocket presence is, and he had the rookie in Levis behind him. But then when you watch games, like when he went up against Christian Wilkins, he actually did pretty well. So it's interesting to see how that's all going to pan out. But that's where, and then Isaiah Wynn, before he got hurt, he was helping us. Our run game was good. Our offensive line was doing really well with him at left guard. And then Liam Eichenberg, he was our center for a good portion of the season. He is right now considered the emergency backup center. So that man is going to be, he's like that sixth offensive lineman who can kind of be plugged in wherever. But I think, towards the end of the season, he actually started doing well at center, to the point where I wasn't ripping my hair out. Like, oh God, Liam, you're killing me. Because the year before, he was struggle bus city at left guard or wherever we were plugging him. I was like, he's going to get someone hurt. And he did. He got Teron Armstead hurt with his poor blocking and a lot of things. But towards the end of the season, he actually started playing really well. Credit to him and his hard work. Also credit to Butch Berry. So I have him locked in at right guard. But again, the battle is, for me, right guard. Who is going to win that right guard spot? And to me, it's between Liam Eichenberg, Robert Jones, and Jack Driscoll. I think those are your three guys when you're talking about a big camp battle. And this is one of three, I think, right now that is pretty big, is who's going to play right guard. And to me, it's between those three guys. And then you have, your guys that are trying to make the roster in Ireland Brown, who's an undrafted free agent. Lester Cotton, he's serviceable, but he needs to beat out Jack Driscoll. He needs to beat out Robert Jones, who came in Robert Jones last year and actually was serviceable for us. You got Matthew Jones and Chasen Hines. These guys are trying to make the roster. Aaron Meyer, who's an undrafted free agent out of El Paso. Those are guys that are kind of competing to make the roster. And for me, those are your three that are competing for right guard. These other guys are going to have to shine or dominate or not. When it comes to training camp, first off, you don't know what you have at linebacker, at offensive line, at defensive line, or at running game until the pads come on. Until those pads come on, there's no contact, there's no tackling to the ground, there's nothing you can really do. That's more for the receivers and the tight ends and quarterback accuracy and all that stuff, and the corners and the safeties. Once the pads come on, you could start to see what we have at offense and defensive line and linebackers at running back. So, and then especially when we have 3 joint practice teams this year, 2 days with Falcons, 1 with the Washington Commanders. I'm going to that one, and then a third one with the Tampa Bay Bucks up in Tampa. We'll get to really see, and that's where these guys, Jason Hines and Lester Cotton and Matthew Jones and Aaron Meyer, are going to try to make the team. Because as of right now, if I had to give you guys what I think the offensive line is going to look like, it's left tackle Teron Armstead, left guard Isaiah Wynn, center Aaron Brewer, right guard Liam Eichenberg, right tackle Austin Jackson, and then your backups are Kendall Lamb, Patrick Paul at tackle, and then your guard position is Robert Jones and Jack Driscoll. And then you have Liam Eichenberg as an emergency center, unless they go out and grab somebody, or unless they take one of these guys and kind of cross-train them at center if Liam Eichenberg does win the center position. But offensive line is going to be something I'm going to be looking at, and especially when I'm down there for August 15th, I'm going to be intently watching so I can give you guys. I'm bringing a notebook, so I'm not going to be on my phone because I can write faster than I can text. So I'm going to bring like a little notepad like this, and I'm just going to be sitting there taking notes. Okay, he did good, but it's going to be hard because I'm going to have to look at like 900 different things. So it's my first training camp, and it's something I'm going to take very seriously for you guys. So right as training camp ends, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to upload it so you guys know what I saw and everything. It's going to be fun. But that's what I got for you guys for, offensive line. Comment below. What is your projected, as of right now, before training camp even starts, what's your projected starting offensive line? Who do you have as backups? And do you think one of these guys in Matthew Jones or Aaron Meyer or Lester Cotton, Jason Hines, do you see them kind of overtaking guys that seem to be favorited, like Jack Driscoll and Robert Jones? Comment below. I'm going to get to one of you guys. Comments of the day. This comment comes from, let me move it up above my head. I'll read it up like this. This comment comes from Keegan. He says, comment of the day: who do you think could be a surprise this season, like Austin Jackson last season, where he went from someone most wanted gone to most celebrating his new contract? I want to say that Julian Hill could be one. Julian Hill, I would love for him to take that next step. I would love for him to be that third cog in that tight end room. If you want to know more about that, I think I made that video out on Tuesday talking about the tight ends. But for me, I'm going to stick with the offensive line. I want it to be Liam Eichenberg. I want it to be another guy that was a high draft pick. Obviously, it was a second rounder, but we traded up for him. And, his first couple of years had bust written all over him. I was super critical of him, just like I was super critical of Austin Jackson. I was very hesitant about, oh God, and he's doing this and he's doing that. He didn't show me any flashes of anything. And then he started coming into it last year. So I would love for Liam Eichenberg to come out and be a replacement at right guard where we forget about Robert Hunt. And that's hard to do because Robert Hunt was probably the best right guard in football last year, and I would absolutely love for Liam Eichenberg to come out, shut us all up. I always post that picture of him struggling at center against the Bills where he's like almost doing a split. But I would love for Liam Eichenberg to be that guy who gets gets a new contract, and regardless of how long it is, and all of a sudden we're good at right guard, we're good at right tackle. We have our future left tackle. Now, we just have to figure out 2 more pieces. And, all of a sudden our offensive line is coming to fruition. It's kind of like the same thing. Like I want Tua Tagovailoa to take that next step. I get called to an ear for that, but it's because then we don't have to search for another piece. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with Liam Eichenberg. I want him to succeed because then all of a sudden we have 3 of the 5 offensive linemen kind of figured out, even though we kind of don't know what we got in Patrick Ball. But great comment. Again, if you guys want to be part of comment of the day, just put comment of the day in front of it. That's so when I search it, I can find yours. And it doesn't even have to be a question. It could just be a comment like, hey, Doug, I think that, whatever. I think that the defense is going to struggle all of this year. Thoughts. I'll be like, give you my thoughts. Doesn't even have to be a comment. I mean, a question. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do a special Saturday video for you guys. And I'm working on doing a tour video where we're going to look at film, look at the good and the bad. And all of the games we're going to be looking at is only against winning opponents, because apparently that's a stigma that Tua, not the team, just Tua has. So we're going to look into that. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. Fins up.